Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're here in the M&M and Festival of Media booth. We're here to do a little video with Beatriz Acevedo, who is the co-owner and founder of Mitu.
Mitu, yes.
She's just been on stage as part of our Transformers session. It's the first time we've ever done a stage like that, so almost 4 10-minute TED Talks, which has been fantastic. How did you find it?
It was great. I mean, I was very excited to learn about other companies who are transformers. Very excited that we were invited along them, and I think it's fantastic that our demographic is being recognized. Some demo that is very, very important, and it's certainly transforming and disrupting traditional media. So great to be here.
Yeah, and it was also fantastic because you were our first panel where we actually had 50% women, female. So it's a real struggle we find to get really good women speakers who want to speak at our festivals, which is obviously an issue. Who have you seen so far that you've liked?
Well, I'm going to be biased to one of the women, but obviously I love the Pandora presentation. I thought Lindsay was fantastic. Yeah, you are right. I mean, there's very few women especially in tech. I mean, here it's a very media, so you would think you would find more women. But in technology, it's a very challenging place to find women, and it's very challenging also to find Latinos. Here it's very Latin-centric, of course, it's in Miami and it's a LATAM conference, but in general, other conferences that I tend to be the only Latina in the group. But it's exciting to see somebody like Pandora, where she came in at the very, very early stage, and how she really turned that around with monetization, being creative with the ads, being very personable on how she was programming to the audience. So I found that very, very interesting.
Excellent. So you want to go with some learnings, so you can go back to your team and say, hey, these are some things I've picked up.
I told her I was one of those unique U.S. Hispanics that they count every month. I was one user, so.
So that's good. That's good for them, because I know they're definitely trying to expand outside of the States. Definitely.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
And what was the kind of inspiration behind Mitu? How did you kind of come up with a thought process? What was going through your mind when you thought, hey, I'm going to give this a go?
A couple of things. First of all, I'm an independent producer myself for many, many years, and as I said during my talk, it is. Even today, it's very, very hard to find a company where you as an independent, as a Latino content creator, you can go and somebody will sort of nurture you to continue to be entrepreneurial and to grow. It's very still old studio system within Latin America and even US Hispanic, where the studios own everything. You're an employee, you keep no copyright. So that's not this generation. You know, these millennials who are creating content are used to them controlling the content, owning the content, doing it at the time they want. So it's a big shock between the new generation of digital content creators and the typical old studio system. And there wasn't a place where they would say, okay, this feels like home. I can still do what I want, but I can still be empowered and nurtured to even grow my business more. And we wanted to be that company. We wanted to be that new media company that definitely empowered these Latin creators around the world to continue to grow and to own their IP and to be creative and to produce their own content. But we could help them to connect them with brands, and we can help them connect them now with networks and studios. We're starting to upstream our content into television as well, and also with other audiences, because obviously power is in the numbers. So once you connect up, we have 1,300 creators in our network. Once you add the audiences of everybody, then you have a very, very powerful critical mass where you can cross-promote audiences from all of them. So it's been very, very exciting to build in the past 2 years.
Wow. And also very exciting for brands, I imagine, as well, because they can then segment your audiences and the people on there. And we've seen vloggers, we've seen these guys who are using YouTube have 10 million hits. I mean,
it's crazy. I mean, one of the big successes of Mitu, I think, is exactly that, to be that connector, right? Before, brands would look at somebody who had a big social footprint, but it's like, oh my God, am I gonna really make an offer directly to some woman who makes her grandma recipes in New Jersey? They just made them nervous, you know? It's like, and the work that they would have to find thousands of them to really get the critical mass was just a lot of work for them. So when we put it all under an umbrella, under Mitu, where we can say, here it is all aggregated with a critical mass, then it made so much sense for them to come into a place where they could pick. You know, this is the brand that fits perfectly with this, and this is how I want to promote it. And for content creators, it was fantastic because although they were getting the millions of hits, they weren't getting the opportunity or the money from the brands. So we were able to connect that, and for audiences as well, that we could send them to a destination where they could consume content how they wanted, when they wanted, which is all about digital, and have a choice. So even if you are looking on how to make something food-wise or fashion-wise, you have thousands of choices and you decide who you connect best with and you consume it, which is very millennial, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's quite an interesting concept. Where do you see the expansion for Mitu? Where does it go now? Do you continue to gather more? Because I suppose at the start it's like, well, we want to get as many different people as we want, and now I suppose the process gets a lot more selective.
For us, there's a very big opportunity in English language content for US Latinos.
Okay.
I mean, that's where our sweet spot is. We have been predominantly Spanish first. We have some Portuguese because of Mitu Brazil.
Yes.
And some English, but it has not been our focus. And we've done a lot of tests where we've seen, and a lot of research, young Latinos in the United States consume the content in English. So we're going to be doing a very big push, launching a few new verticals, one called Urbano very soon, and Mitu News, that will be in English, but aimed at Latinos. Content that's culturally relevant, but in English. So that's where our expansion is going to be.
Wonderful. And what are you most looking forward to seeing this afternoon? We've got a few sessions left. Is there anyone in particular you've got your eye on in the program?
No, but I'm going to sit through all of them and then I'll let you know which one I found most interesting. I'm sure they're all going to be great. It's always fantastic to be able to take the day off from work and not feel guilty and learn so much from all these people who are doing incredible things. So it's fantastic to be here.
Brilliant.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And I suppose the last question is, what are your impressions of your first Festival of Media?
It's so much bigger than I thought. This is incredible.
Okay.
I do a lot of conferences. I think because of that, because I'm a woman and I'm a Latina. I'm invited a lot, probably one a week. And I had no idea this was so big. It's unbelievable, incredible. I have to sign up for next year for sure, and we'd love to have a Me Too presence here next year.
We can have a little talk about that, not a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's lovely to meet you and lovely to have you on tape.
Nice to meet you too, and
thank
you so much for having me.